You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Being Sunday morning, you guys know the news starts percolating from all the insiders across the league. And this morning, the NFL has surfaced, has, lack of a better way of putting it, hammered Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid for their outburst we all witnessed the other day after the controversial offsides call. Once again, the referees generally do say something to wide receivers as to whether or not they're lined up offsides, but it's not an obligation and it's not a rule. And generally, and even Andy Reid has come out and admitted, generally the team will ask for guidance at that moment. The players will ask, turn and look at the ref and be like, and they'll say, scoot back. The players didn't ask for that. Kadarius Toney didn't ask for that, who has come out and slammed the league again. All right, and that's part of what I'm going to cover, but he doubled down and slammed the league again he come out and called the league liars. This is really getting interesting. This Buffalo Bills-Chiefs rivalry is turned into something that's kind of underrated at this point. It's really good, and it was an awesome play call. But the Travis Kelce backwards pass, it was a backwards pass / lateral to Kadarius Toney. That was ad-libbed, according to what Travis Kelce said, and it would have turned out to be one of the most awesome plays of the year, and it didn't end up happening. Kansas City Chiefs coach Andy Reid was fined $100,000. And quarterback Patrick Mahomes was fined $50,000 for violating NFL rules about public criticism of game officials. A source told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Saturday. Mahomes was also cited by the league for unsportsmanlike conduct after yelling at officials late in last week's loss to the Buffalo Bills. Both were upset with an offside penalty on Chiefs wideout Kadarius Toney that wiped out what could have been a go-ahead touchdown with less than 2 minutes remaining. Instead, the Chiefs wound up turning the ball over on downs and losing to the Buffalo Bills. Reid said he and the offending player are usually warned by the officials before being penalized. Reid called it a bit embarrassing in the National Football League that Toney was penalized. Mahomes said the penalty call was, quote, elementary school stuff, and we all know he ended up walking back some comments, said he should not have been acting that way. Kids were watching the game, etc., etc. I couldn't believe he actually brought that up while he was, giving that post-game sort of half-hearted hug to Josh Allen. So Kadarius Toney comes out, and this is what he said in his double down. The controversial call left the Chiefs furious, in particular an irate Patrick Mahomes, who threw his helmet to the ground and had to be held back by his teammates as he screamed at officials. Much of the Chiefs' anger was thought to be because the officials had not warned them about a possible offensive offside. Referee Carl Sheffers said that he would have offered advice to the team had they asked for it, but Toney doubled down on their blame of officials and claimed they were lying. Why would the officials lie about that? And Lord knows I am not the biggest fan of NFL referees or Roger Goodell or any of that bunch, but you get the point. Whether it was an inch, 2 inches, or whatever in front of the ball, the referee got a job to let me know. He didn't make no effort. You watch the video. He didn't make no effort to say anything about no alignment. So apparently he wanted to do that regardless. But like I said, we're going to going back to the details just to make sure we read fine print on everything. Sheffer said Toney was so far offsides he was blocking our view of the ball, and he admitted he would have given the Chiefs advice for their positioning had they asked for it. But head coach Andy Reid, who previously called branded the call embarrassing, later admitted they didn't ask for guidance. Toney's touchdown would have moved the host 23-20 ahead with just over a minute to play, yet when the score was erased, Buffalo held on for a victory. As a result of their respective outbursts, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport has revealed both guys were hit with fines. We just talked about that. After initially losing, Mahomes was quick to hold his hands up and admit his actions were out of line at Arrowhead. The quarterback also insisted he still intends to prove himself as a role model going forward, and there you can see him having to be held back from the referees after that call. I think it's the pressure of being a good person. He said this week when asked about the outburst of being the face of Kansas City, I try to act in a way that I'm a good role model because I looked up to guys that were on this stage ever since I was a little kid running through the locker room. At least he gets it. At least he understands that. I'm just trying to be a good person, Mahomes continued. Obviously, I care. So my emotions were shown on the football field, which should have been shown in good ways, but obviously that wasn't a good way. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to be the best person I can, the face of the franchise. NFL stuff, that's going to come and go. But if I can show the person I am every single day, that sets an example. That's what I want to do when my career's over. And he obviously realizes at this point, I mean, Mahomes is aware you've won 2 Super Bowls, you've got an MVP. The Chiefs are always involved. They seem to be the franchise because they've been the AFC championship games, yada, 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 since he showed up and won those championships. It's felt like the NFL and I guess people around the league have sort of branded them as the next team up after the Patriots dynasty, right? The NFL's always trying to, it's good for business for them to try to brand a team a dynasty and sort of the villains of the league, which is what the Patriots sort of carried around with them. And then, a lot of people, you rooted for your team and then you rooted against the Patriots a lot of times. And I think a lot of people root against the Chiefs. Now, personally speaking, I don't have a dog in that hunt. I do think it's more interesting if Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, is in the playoffs. But I also believe if the Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs, that's interesting too because you got Josh Allen. So, look, I'm always going to try to want to see the best quarterbacks in football during the playoffs. I think that's what everybody wants to see. What is going to be the best television product at that point? So, but it's clear the NFL hammered the shit out of them. $100,000 for Andy Reid. Of course, he's the coach. And then Patrick Mahomes gets a hefty $50,000 fine. It's ridiculous. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.